apply to a particular college.
Or avoid applying to.
Great question. Let me address it in two halves. If you're going to apply to school and the dean or the college counselor or whatever the title is of the person at your high school says, we think that your daughter should really apply to this school, you should apply to that school unless your daughter does the research and decides that that's a terrible fit for her and she has no interest in studying. When they have a relationship, it's not like they're calling the college and saying, I demand that you let these 3 people in. What should be true is that the people who work in college admissions at the university level have developed relationships with people at the high school level such that they have a really good, solid understanding of what education students going through that program are getting. And so they can say, all right, well, we don't know what your 3-3 means, but we know that you went to Marlborough, is that what you said? We know that you went to Marlborough, and we know what that education means, and we know that historically the students that we've had who came from Marlborough were very successful when they got here. And so we're willing to just look at that whole application in the best possible light because we already have that relationship with that high school. And the personal relationship between the counselor in the best possible version of this is simply informational. It's, you know, this has been a particularly good class this year, and so-and-so has been a particularly good student, and, you know, we would have no hesitation compared to the other students we've sent to you who have been successful in the past. We think that she would definitely succeed based on that, and the people in college admissions think that's terrific, and on their end, you know, the personal relationship just facilitates the conversation. If they're saying, you should definitely not apply here, that's a little trickier, because I firmly believe that it's no one's job to tell you no, except the college admissions at the university. They're allowed to say no. That's their job. Their job is to evaluate your application and say yes or no. If your daughter really feels strongly that this is a great school for her, you will have to handle it diplomatically, but it's not reasonable for the high school to say you shouldn't. The version of college admissions that I subscribe to and that I proselytize is probably the closest thing to what I do. It's all about the students doing the research to find the best schools where he or she is going to thrive when they get there. And that research is so individual and so personal that no matter how good your high school Department of College Counseling is, they're not going to know it as well as you do as an individual student applying to college. So you have to handle it. You have to handle it delicately because you can't seem to be completely disregarding. Because the fact is, there is one recommendation that probably gets written by that person who is making those suggestions. So what you want to do is you want to say, hey, thanks so much for these recommendations. And I know you said I have a very low chance at this school, and I know it's a real long shot, but I feel strongly that this particular program at this particular school is so well suited that I would really like to do that anyway, and thank you for your input on that. So if you can handle it diplomatically, then it's going to be fine. They're not going to deep six that application, nor are they going to think less of you when they're writing the recommendations for other schools.